The hidden cost of choosing comfort over growth. There is a quiet moment that almost no one talks about. A moment that doesn't feel dramatic, doesn't feel tragic, and doesn't feel like a mistake, yet slowly becomes the turning point of an entire life. And that moment is the instant you choose comfort over growth, not once, but repeatedly, until it becomes who you are. Because comfort rarely announces itself as danger. It arrives softly disguised as rest, as safety, as I'll do it later, as I deserve this, as I'll start when things feel right, and before you realize it, weeks turn into years. Years turn into a life that feels strangely smaller than the one you once imagined. Think about this for a moment. How many dreams didn't die because you failed, but because you waited until it felt comfortable to begin? How many versions of you were never born? Not because you weren't capable, but because discomfort felt unnecessary. And now ask yourself something honestly. When was the last time you chose growth when comfort was available? Because here's what no one tells you. Comfort is not neutral. Comfort always costs something. And most of the time, the price is invisible. Carl Jung believed that what we do not confront within ourselves eventually appears outside of us as fate. And comfort is one of the most powerful ways we avoid confrontation, because it allows us to remain exactly as we are while convincing ourselves that nothing is wrong. But something is wrong. Not loudly, not dramatically. Quietly, the wrongness shows up as restlessness, without a clear reason, as boredom that no amount of entertainment can cure, as a low-grade dissatisfaction that hums beneath your daily routines, as the sense that you are living a life that is technically fine, but emotionally empty. Viktor Frankl, who survived the unimaginable horrors of concentration camps, observed something profound about the human condition, that suffering is not what destroys us, but meaningless suffering is, and comfort without purpose creates exactly that kind of emptiness, because it removes challenge while offering no meaning in return. Comfort gives you ease, but it takes away significance. Napoleon Hill spoke about this in a different language, calling it the habit of drifting. The tendency to move through life without deliberate aim, choosing what is easiest instead of what is meaningful, slowly surrendering personal power while mistaking passivity for peace, and drifting feels comfortable. That's why it's so dangerous, because nothing feels wrong enough to demand change. But here's the hidden cost. When you choose comfort repeatedly, you're not just avoiding discomfort, you are avoiding becoming. You are unconsciously voting to remain the same person, even as your inner self quietly knows that it was meant to expand. Friedrich Nietzsche warned that the greatest danger is not pain, but a life lived without tension, because it is tension that pulls us upward, that forces us to grow stronger, wiser, deeper, and more alive. Without tension, the soul goes dormant. Alan Watts often spoke about how modern life tries to eliminate all discomfort, creating a world obsessed with convenience, ease, and pleasure, while forgetting that growth, creativity, and transformation have always emerged from friction, from uncertainty, from stepping into the unknown. Now pause here. Think about your own life. Where have you chosen comfort? Not because it was necessary, but because it was easier. Where have you stayed silent instead of honest? Where have you stayed still instead of moving forward? Where have you delayed growth under the illusion that there would be a better time? Because the cost isn't just missed opportunities. The cost is identity. Carl Jung believed that the psyche naturally moves toward wholeness, toward individuation, toward becoming who you truly are. But when growth is avoided, that energy doesn't disappear. It turns inward, manifesting as anxiety, depression, self-sabotage, and quiet despair. That's why comfort can feel safe on the surface, yet heavy underneath. You feel tired even when you haven't done much. You feel overwhelmed by small things. You feel disconnected from yourself, because a part of you knows you are capable of more, and that part does not go silent easily. Napoleon Hill argued that the mind becomes shaped by habitual thoughts and actions, meaning that every time you choose comfort over challenge, you are conditioning yourself to avoid growth, training your nervous system to associate expansion with danger and safety with stagnation. Over time, growth begins to feel threatening, and comfort feels necessary, even when it's slowly suffocating you. But here's the turning point. Discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is the signal. Viktor Frankl believed that meaning is not found in ease but in responsibility, in responding to life's demands rather than escaping them. And growth always begins the moment you willingly accept a level of discomfort in service of something greater than immediate pleasure. This is not about suffering for the sake of suffering. This is about choosing meaningful struggle over meaningless ease. Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how, and comfort robs you of that why by removing the necessity to discover it." When life is too easy, the question of meaning never arises. And when meaning never arises, neither does purpose. Now ask yourself something difficult. If nothing changes, if you continue choosing comfort exactly as you are now, where will you be in 5 years? Not materially, but internally. Will you feel more alive? More grounded? More yourself? Or will you feel safer, but smaller? Because the hidden cost of comfort is not immediate pain. It's delayed regret. It's waking up one day, realizing you traded potential for predictability, growth for ease, becoming for staying the same. But here's the hopeful truth. The moment you become aware of this choice, you regain your power. Carl Jung believed that awareness itself is transformative, because what is made conscious can be worked with, integrated, and changed. You do not need to destroy your comfort. You need to stop letting it make decisions for you. Growth does not demand constant struggle. It demands intentional discomfort, choosing the difficult conversation, the uncertain step, the disciplined action, the honest reflection, even when comfort is available. Napoleon Hill emphasized that growth begins with decision. Not motivation, not inspiration, but decision. The quiet, internal commitment to move forward even when fear is present. Alan Watts would remind us that life is not meant to be controlled, but participated in. And participation requires risk, uncertainty, and vulnerability. You are not meant to live a frictionless life. You are meant to become. And becoming is uncomfortable, but it is also alive. So the question is no longer whether comfort feels good. The question is whether it's costing you the life you could have lived. If this message spoke to you, subscribe to Becoming You and keep growing with us. And if you watched until the end, comment the word becoming and share your thoughts below. Because awareness is the first step, but choice is what changes everything.